Steven Crowder does another minstrel show about Black Santa. Oh God, I don't want to watch that. It's just like too much brain disease. I'd rather watch this lighter form of brain disease right now and then move on. Joe Rogan says that Sanjay Gupta had a poor showing on his podcast because Gupta had wrongly assumed Joe would defer to him as a medical expert, and Gupta realized that Joe is informed. Yeah, dude, that's totally what happened.
Randomly, the morning that
Thank you, Psychedelic Gazelle and Professor Soup for the 5 gifteds.
that podcast came out with that CNN guy,
Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah. It popped up. I was like, oh, cool. This will be fun. And so I started listening to it. And yeah, that was it was like, again, sort of like two people were watching two different movies. Yeah. And it was weird too to hear him say like, oh, I listen to your podcast. I was thinking to myself, I don't know how much this guy's listened to Joe Rogan's podcast, because he kind of rolled in.
I like that Joe went from, I'm a fucking idiot, I'm a monkey, I'm an ape, don't listen to me, like, I'm just trying to make jokes, to like, no, actually, I'm smarter than fucking people who have like done the reading when I, debate them. Because I've done my research, and, that's my Facebook research, and it's giving me the tools to be able to debate doctors and shit on the matter.
Like he was not prepared for what was about to go down.
I think he's insanely busy. That's what I think.
Okay.
The guy's a legitimate practicing neurosurgeon, and he works like 100 hours a week. No bullshit. I mean, that guy is like legitimately dealing with real patients all the time, constantly, and then works as a consultant for CNN. So
for the first time, I'm noticing that Joe Rogan's tendency to fucking appeal to authority is withering away because he has such strong convictions on this COVID thing. Okay? I don't know if it's because of like all the dumb, weird shit that he's read. I don't know if it's like a sea of sycophants that want to suckle on Joe Rogan's content teat for relevance. I don't know what it is, but ultimately it feels like this is one of the few instances where he literally believes his convictions. He's like, no, I'm right on the COVID thing. Because I talked about this on the Leftovers podcast that's coming out tomorrow. There's a lot of fun stuff on there, by the way. I don't want to tease it. There's, there's some Harvey Weinstein, Ryan Kavanaugh shit on there too. Basically, I said pretty much this, where it was like Joe Rogan went from, talking about his friends who are divorced dads and like have to pay alimony and like talking about fucking, DMT and shit in every episode, to literally just having media guys on. This is like, I gave a hat tip to Felix on that one. He just has media guys on right now, right? He only has media guys on, and they all have like their fucking conservative talking points ready to go. But even then, Joe has like two things that he's consistently defend, or one thing that he's always consistently defended, no matter who he's fucking talking to, other than him being like a regular chameleon, right? And the thing is weed. Like he'll debate people on weed. Like he has very strong convictions on weed. Now, it's weed and fucking COVID. Like he literally was trying to dunk on Dr. Rhonda Patrick, dunking on fucking Sanjay Gupta, like whoever the fuck he has on that are like otherwise medical experts. Like that's the one area where he will not be a chameleon. He will fucking debate you. And it's clear that he's like, whether it's because he's like too embarrassed to admit that he's wrong, or whether it's because he's like truly fucking brainwashed. He's just straight the fuck up weird about this COVID shit. It's crazy. I say this as like, I'm putting my, I know Joe Rogan well and am a fan hat on, okay? Do you understand?
I think he felt like the same way if I had a conversation with you about.
You forgot about the anti-trans athlete stance? No, I don't mention it because I don't think he's ever had someone who's like pro-trans athletes on to debate them. He's just like, that still goes with the chameleon narrative.
Military tactics and leadership in the SEALs. I would defer to you about everything. I would just be asking questions. Yeah. You're the expert.
But when it comes to, doctors about COVID, I don't defer to them because they're stupid.
I think he had this idea that that's how it was going to be. That we were going to have this conversation about COVID and medicine and a medical situation.
Yeah. Obviously, like being in the military and knowing about military shit is way more professionalized and way lower, way higher a barrier of entry than being a fucking neurosurgeon who reads like medical journals and understands them and can elaborate them as like a communicator, you know what I mean, of medical journals. Like literally that's his job, other than being a fucking neurosurgeon, is to make medical information, process medical information from journals and like communicate them to the public, which is of course significantly easier, than being a fucking soldier guy who talks about soldier experiences. You know what I mean? Come on, dude. That's why I defer to you, Jocko, because you're the most thumb-like guy. You can tell me about being a thumb. Whereas, when it comes to processing medical journals accurately, well, then fucking I got this. I got this one, Sanjay. Don't worry about it. I've read enough Facebook posts.
And then he was going to give me all of this information that was going to straighten me out.
Ouch.
Didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out.
Well, I've been fucking talking to scientists and doctors and biologists and virologists for months and months.
He has not. He has not done that. He has absolutely not done that. Even if he did do that, that does not make you a medical expert. No, you've only talked to people that are completely outside of that fucking field, or at the very most, edge cases that are going against the scientific consensus on purpose in an effort to become media figures, okay? He has not. He literally has not fucking talked to, like, the people that he talked to, like Michael Osterholm, right? Like, on Joe Biden's, like, COVID pandemic response team, right? That was, like, fucking 2 years ago almost at this point. Like, that was when COVID first popped off. And that's it. He had him on to talk about the fucking measures that are necessary that we need to take. And since then, he hasn't had like a single fucking actual medical expert on that will go against it. And when it comes to like Rhonda Patrick and shit, he's like, no, I don't care. Where are the epidemiologists that he's had on? Brett Weinstein is not a fucking doctor. Brett Weinstein literally is just a fucking, what is he, like a evolutionary biologist person that got fired from his university and has been like running off that for years about cancel culture. Stop hating Hasan. It doesn't look good. It's not hating. I just want Joe Rogan to be fucking, not this like weirdo snake oil salesman who thinks his fucking farts smell like lavender, okay? The thing that made Joe Rogan so appealing was that he was a dude bro. He was a fucking dude bro who like recognizes limitations. And his like chameleon style actually made it really interesting for unique guests that he had on to come on and fucking talk about their shit. That's not hate, dude. I've known about Joe Rogan, have met Joe Rogan, and have been a fan of Joe Rogan before you knew who the fuck Joe Rogan was. Shut the fuck up. He's turned into this like fucking boomer who posts like literally just like old ass person memes on Instagram, who constantly talks about COVID every fucking episode, no matter who the fuck is on.
Months and months. Yeah. And
you've got to be the amount of information that you have absorbed in the past 6 months or maybe a year about this. You've been tracking it. You've been talking to all these smart people. Man, that's rough to roll in and think that you're going to trump your statements.
Well, I think he thought that I wasn't really informed, but I keep a fucking file on my phone. And it's not a small file. I'm going to show you this. I have a folder on my phone called Cooties. And these are all COVID stories that I've read. I've read every one of them.
Yeah.
And I know. And
bro, this is literally old man. This is old man brain. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. He has like terminal old man brain, dude. Hey, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, guess what, bitch? I mean, this is the joke. This is the meme. It's like, 3,000 years of like a culmination of medical knowledge with millions of doctors, epidemiologists, virologists fucking studying carefully the fucking material that they're disseminating to the public versus a folder full of Facebook memes. Who wins? The Facebook memes every time. It's like, why did you go to school, dumbass? Why did you become a doctor? Why do you think you are an effective orator of scientific information that you're supposed to explain to people? Like, why do you think you're a communicator of medical information when I got fucking Facebook memes on my side? Dumbass.
Not COVID stories, like anecdotal stories.
Right.
These are all like PubMed articles. These are all like peer-reviewed data studies. These are all VAERS reports. These are all like things on
VAERS reports. Bro, you've already owned yourself when you say these are VAERS reports. VAERS reports cannot be used in the same sentence as PubMed articles. And half of those fucking PubMed articles very likely are not even fucking peer reviewed, okay? Even if they're pulled, your file doesn't know that they're pulled. But there you go. It's just like when you fucking... These are not anecdotal stories, bro. These are VAERS reports.
on myocarditis. These are all things on vaccine efficacy, how long it wanes, when it goes.
Right.
You know, I mean, just like I've been paying attention. I don't have an uninformed opinion. I have a controversial opinion, but what else is new?
Yeah, it's just controversial, bro. No, you are uninformed. God damn, he's just a fucking nuts, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Separate category. Why VAERS exists if it's useless? Because VAERS is not entirely useless. VAERS is useful in a country where people don't just fucking pump out misinformation into that system. Okay. The problem with VAERS is that it's self-reported. So you can literally fucking say Harry Potter died of COVID and put it in the VAERS system, and that's fine. That's a ping, okay? It's only useful for the regulatory forces to take a look at it and see any sort of like abstraction or any sort of, not abstraction, any sort of fucking unintentional consequence of like taking a vaccine or something like that. VAERS is the, what is it? The vaccine... Hold on. Okay. So VAERS is the vaccine adverse event reporting system. Okay. You self-report if you've had a reaction following the vaccination. But historically, okay, whenever there's a new vaccine, the blip on VAERS because of the because of how interested people are about talking about how fucking you know, how vaccines are bad. Whenever there's a new vaccine that comes out, the number of deaths and number of like adverse events that occur as a consequence of that vaccine skyrocket. And even though the vaccine usage rate is consistent, all of a sudden, months after no one gives a shit about taking the MMR vaccine, those adverse reactions go away. So what happened? Did we just give autism to everyone that took the MMR vaccine and now they are no longer reporting it? Or do you think it's more so that people abuse a self-reported system because of mass hysteria caused by people like Joe Rogan? But it's .gov. Who cares? It's an anecdotal self-reporting tool that is online. How do you not understand that that's not an accurate fucking tool to figure out whether or not something is serious? Oh, this? The batshit crazy VAERS advance event. Same day as the second shot, wife went out and absconded with my child. She remains delusional. I'm not with 100% certainty this vaccine related, but if the live virus can cause psychotic or psychosis, I think our government should be aware of these possibly deadly reactions. I still do not feel normal after my vaccine was administered on the same day. You could go on VAERS right now and report that once you took the vaccine, you had homosexual thoughts. Just so you know. So the validity of that is negligible at best. It's something that the FDA can use, okay? It's something that the FDA can use to figure out if there's like any sort of adverse effects from the vaccine, but they still have to test afterwards, okay? They still have to legitimately look into it separately. It's just a mechanism to throw a red flag on the fucking play. I can go on VAERS right now and say that the vaccine gave me ligma and I have Joe Bogan coom over it. Yeah.